I had the honor and the privilege to be invited to be a part of the inaugural session for the orientation program for the 2023-25 MBA program at TAPMI in Manipal. And I was quite pleased to have the opportunity of being on the panel. And in fact, I was the moderator for a session on Saturday morning. I've actually hadn't had this opportunity for a while, dealing with young people in the last few months. So it was a total delight, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have to tell you, this batch is exceptionally gifted because there's so many smart questions and such a highly intriguing debate that I was absolutely thrilled. In fact, the panelists were former TAPMI grads, their alumni, both Natarajan and Anubroto, who are currently with Sibyl and Titan respectively. They added a lot of corporate intelligence to the discussion, and I think we generally had an hour plus of absolutely striking time. I just want to capture the sense of that here in this video briefly. So mostly the discussion was about what are the expectations from the corporate in terms of hiring new grads. And while the current batch that has just come in is actually about 2 years away from graduation, a lot of this discussion is important from the aspect of keeping the young folks tuned in to what are the things that they should focus on along the way, because 2 years will fly by as they're getting busy with their program, and they shouldn't be surprised when the campus interviews actually happen. So the inculcation of these values have to happen from today. That was basically the purpose of the object of the topic, and there's some very strong takeaways. I just want to summarize some of them here. One of the things I was telling them as a part of the discussion was that to really be able to meet your most common objectives, such as graduate with a good package, make sure that you're set on the path to your career and progress, all of that will happen. Those are table stakes anyway. What I was saying is that if you really have to excel and go beyond your expectations, because you might be undershooting, you really don't know the human potential, you really don't know the market potential. So how much further can you go depends on how high you're willing to shoot. So I'm saying set the goal anyway, but try to overshoot. So to overshoot, there are 2 or 3 things that one needs to know. That's what I was sharing there, and I'm just capturing that here. Number 1 is you need something called a mindset. So broadly, mindsets are of 2 kinds. One is a fixed mindset, the other is a flexible mindset. Behavioral psychologists will tell you that fixed mindsets are those people that shun new opportunity. They constantly say, no, there's something that I cannot do. I'm only willing to do this. Life itself is quite forgiving. If that's what you shoot for, that's all you'll get. But I was saying, if you are looking at a flexible mindset, then suddenly the opportunities are infinite. There's so much more you can do because you remove the borders set by yourself. So in a way, flexible mindset is like clay. In the hands of an artisan, clay becomes art. So that's what you should shoot for. Number 2 is skill sets. So what kind of skill sets do you need to imbibe? In an economy that has been grown on the famous maxim of knowledge is power, one of the most important things we should realize today is that the internet is the great leveler and has actually democratized knowledge and made the same amount of knowledge available for a freshly graduating class 10 kid versus a PhD scholar, because all the research and information is actually on the net and your access to that is pretty much the same. So how are you going to differentiate yourself? The key to that will be skill sets, not knowledge. So knowledge used to be power, but now skill sets is power. And what is the difference? Skill set is the ability to apply your knowledge to solve a business problem or a market need. So you focus on that. And the example that I love to share is if you have a campus interview and a Big Four, for example, is there, and they're going to say, so why should I hire you? And if you're going to say, well, I'm a cool guy, I'm a nice kid, I learn fast, I'm honest, I'm blah, 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 that's exactly what 500 other kids will say. But what you should perhaps say is something like this. Sir, why don't you give me a name of a company, let's say a listed company, and give me a balance sheet, and I'll use ChatGPT finance prompts and produce for you in the next 5 minutes a 5-year projection and also make standard industry ratios comparison with the next top 3 or 4 competitive players, and give you a logical and mathematical reason why a certain candidate is the best M&A merger candidate for this particular company in the next 5 minutes. That would be a compelling argument. That's really a skill set, and that's much more than knowledge. It shows that you've applied the knowledge. That's a winning argument. That's about skill sets number 2. Number 3 is about, so let's do a quick summary. Number 1 is, number 1, number 2, and number 3. The third one is really how quickly you're able to apply toolkits or tool sets. So you have mindset, skill set, and tool set, right? So tool sets is something that you really have to research and work on, because a lot of innovation is happening in the tool set space. In market automation, for example, marketing automation, there are hundreds of companies literally. Some of them will stay, some of them will linger around, some of them will die. You need to figure out which ones of these that actually stick around are going to become leaders for tomorrow. That's a part of the research you should do. That's something that nobody really can help you. Maybe you can make small groups and then do research yourself and find out. There's a tendency for large high-tech companies to pick up smart, innovative little companies and then just move them in skin, and they'll disappear from the face of the planet. But skills you have built using certain toolkits will always be useful to you, because another tool set that comes in will not be totally different. It will be somewhat similar. So you need to focus on the tool sets as well. So the point I was making is, if you can understand and focus based on your discipline the top 3 or 4 tool sets that are really going to help you, then you'll become familiar with that. You can showcase that, and if you make this a part of your DNA, you'll continuously take on every new wave that's likely to come along your path in the next 20-30 years. In whichever career you decide to pick, there will be specific areas that you will have the opportunity to excel. So quick summary, markets, quick summary of what the top 3 things you need are. 1 is mindset, 2 is skill sets, 3 is tool sets. So this combination should help you and guide you along the way wherever you go. There's one last tip that I want to add here. So, how exactly are you going to use these skills? Because you're going to be inundated by the amount of data and stuff that you learn from the college and the campus and the curriculum. So the simple technique to hack this is like this. What you should do is, you should focus at least 30 minutes of your time every day. Let's say 20 plus 20, 40 minutes, or 30 plus 30, 60 minutes at the most every day in reading and writing about whatever you study. These skill sets that you pick up, if you can start using the time, about 30 minutes a day, to read up on these specific technologies or skills, and also another 30 minutes on writing and sharing whatever you learn, then you will suddenly realize that you've picked up a life skill which will become a part of you every day. So whether you are 25 today or 45 tomorrow, a specific time of day will always be dedicated to enhancing your IQ. Putting this every day in 30 minutes slots is going to become the equivalent of your systematic investment plan. It's an SIP in your education. It's an SIP in the biggest asset you can build for your life, which is you. This is not a mutual fund. This is not equity market. This is the brand equity of you. So do not forget that while everything else is running, be sure that mark out about 30 minutes, 60 minutes a day max, or even 40 minutes a day. 20 minutes in reading, 20 minutes in writing, whatever you learn for the day. That becomes your SIP for creating the brand you. So I'll let you go at this point. All the best. And again, thank you so much. This crowd of this year at the inaugurals a few days ago at TAPMI, I wish you all the best. You guys are super energetic, super talented, and I wish you break all the borders, all the boundaries that you created for yourselves and excel like crazy. Great day. Bye-bye.